So let's imagine a future 10 years from now. You're the only employee at Gordon Foods, and then the rest of them are robots who are moving the packages, doing the deliveries. What does it look like, 10 years later? Is this the future where you have a one-person company where everything is automated?
Oh man, don't make me an evil warlord because I have a lot of informations. IDP, it did not work. So let's move on. Let's try something else. IDP was a great tool, but I'm talking about large number of invoices that are coming in on a daily basis. IDP can handle it. It's slow, it's clunky. The good thing was that we're able to write a very effective prompt that was able to solve through all those documentation and then pull out all the necessary information that we need. And today, that automation is doing very great in production. Actually, I think we just achieved around 93% accuracy.
Today, we have a very special guest. We have Deji with us. He heads intelligent automation at Gordon Foods Group, and he's been doing a lot of amazing work in bringing AI and automation into the Gordon Foods ecosystem. We're really looking forward to learning about all of the incredible work that he's doing and how AI is impacting Gordon Foods and how they're bringing in automation. Great to have you here, Deji.
Thank you, Sarthak. I'm happy to be here.
If you can just start by telling the audience, what do you think about when you think about automation? What does that mean to you? How is it sort of shaping your world today?
Think about, let's say in your daily life, your daily work life. Think about those kind of roles or those kind of job or tasks that you really don't like to do. Anytime you think about it, it's just frustrating for you. It's annoying to you. You just don't want to do it. And then think about, what if you have an alternative to getting that work done without you having to stress about it? Like, by the time you get to work or by the time you need that, it's ready for you. How would that feel? Okay, that is automation. Anything that can take work off your plate and allow you to focus on the tasks that you really want to do. So another example I give all the time is an illustration I had from somewhere. I don't even remember where I had it from again, but there's this security guard. His main task is, the reason why he was employed was to do security work, like keep this property safe. But as part of his work, he has to turn on security light every night and turn it off every morning. So while he's walking around in the evening, turning on the security lights, people are breaking in. He's not really paying attention to what he was really recruited to do. And in the morning when he's turning it off as well, same thing is happening. But imagining switching that out with, those automatic lights that then come on themselves when it's dusk and, go off themselves when it's getting in the morning. And just imagine him at that point is really focusing on the task he was really recruited to do. That is, keep the property safe. And that's what happens in our daily life as well. We have a lot of people that are recruited to do specific tasks. We recruit people for their expertise, not for the mundane tasks we do. So if we can just take away those mundane tasks from them and allow them to focus on the real work that we employ them to do, that's automation, basically.
Makes sense. No, I love that example. So what's your example of some boring work that AI is sort of automating for you today or for your team?
For example, you employ a financial analyst to do financial analysis stuff for you, right? Predict the future, predict, your financial, whatever within your company. That's his task. But majority of the day, 80% of the day, 80% of his time in a day is spent doing copy and pasting of data from one system into Excel. What use is that? It's not going to enjoy coming to work and really enjoy doing his work. What you're employ them to do is to really do financial analysis for your company. So the same thing goes with, creative folks that, do, creative stuff. You can take the task away of the bots of automation doing those, mundane tasks that you really don't like to do, and really focus on the creativity side of your business or what you do. So it's not taking anything away from me. In fact, I think in most cases, it enhances the work that you do. Like, for example, now I have a lot of people that are leveraging generative AI to do a lot of things. So a simple task as proofreading their emails. It's something as simple as that to very complex tasks. Okay, identify the trends in this data that I can't necessarily think about or see by myself. So it's not taking away anything from you. It's just making your job a lot more enjoyable and focus on what you really, really, really love to do and not those mundane tasks that you really don't like to do.
You've been doing this for some time now. You've sort of seen it go from a pre-AI world to a post-AI world, where before it was sort of a pipe dream to be able to do some of these things, and you've seen that transition happen. So, based on what you're seeing today, what are you most excited about that you will be able to automate? And I love the fact that how you're focused on taking automation to make your team's lives easier. So, what are you most excited about, and what do you think is going to be the impact?
We can generate those images very quickly. It can be loaded on the website as quickly as possible for our customers to view exactly what they want to buy. That's an example, right? But in the past, we literally have to get the vendors or get people to supply us with the images. We can take forever before we can get it. We're not really delivering good customer services. But with changing AI, we can generate those images very quickly. We can look at it. It can go through quality very quickly. Say, okay, this is what we want. Let's adjust it this way. We can do that very quickly now. Unlike before that, we couldn't do it. Another way that we're looking at it, it's a process that we automated a while back. Whenever we want to make payments to our vendors, right, we have to match several documents together. The invoices, the receipt, and the POs, just to make sure that, okay, the quantity we requested, we got it. The amount that we said we wanted, like we've got everything kind of matches. Okay, we requested for 20 quantities of this item, and then we for $20 at each item. Each of them cost, total item is $200. So we needed all three of them to match, but they all match. So these vendors send everything to our local offices, DCs, so to say, and then from there, someone forwards those emails to an inbox. Someone would then download all those documents, look at them manually, and then go into SAP to match it. We could never catch up based on the amount of and the volume of invoices, receipt, those document emails coming in on a daily basis. We could never catch up. So that results into late payments, of invoices and things like that, which we really don't want. We kind of figured out, okay, we needed to automate this process. It's not efficient the way it's being done right now. So the first thing first, how do we get it done? So we looked at the entire process end to end, and we started figuring out how to automate that process. So the first thing we needed to get was like, okay, the folks that are sending this email, we don't really need them to do that because that's the only job that we recruited them to do. We don't need that. We can do some auto forwarding, from there, or receive it auto forwarding, whatever. We did that. That's great. Now that we're receiving it in a central email, how do we pull out all this information? We didn't look at generative AI initially. That's funny thing, right? We're looking at the tool that was provided by our vendor, our automation platform vendor. That's what we're looking at initially. But the tool was very clunky. It was so slow. We're talking about going through 300 to 400 invoices, POs, receipts in a single day. So we needed something that was quick, something that was efficient. But that wasn't it. It was clunky. It was slow. We didn't like it. So we come up with this idea. Well, we have Google Gemini. Why let's try using that let's try using that. And it worked great. It worked great in the fact that if we have one page of PO, one page of receipts, one page of receipts or invoices rather, it was easy for us to just read the line items, pull out the information out and say, okay, they're all matched. We hand it over to the bot, then the bot goes into the SAP, processes their payment for them. Great. But we had to start looking at the complexity where we had several pages of invoices or several pages of invoices, POs, or backup documentation that we did not need. We needed to sort that out. But the good thing was that we're able to write a very effective prompt that was able to solve through all those documentation and then pull out all the necessary information that we need. And today, that automation is doing very great in production. Actually, I think we just achieved around 93% accuracy. We don't have anybody interfering with the process. When those invoices are coming in, they're getting paid on time, which is great.
Let's break it down. You mentioned two use cases, and they were sort of really amazing. The first one was the products that go onto your website First, you have to manually verify those. Now you generate them and then you can push them, and AI is doing all of that. So that's very clearly something that would have never been possible before generative AI or the AI capabilities we have today. On the other use case, which is the very interesting thing, this is one of those things that have been tried for the last 20 years, that people have been trying to pay invoices using everything from like older AI to then RPA to now again generative AI, and sort of people have got bored of hearing the same things. But what you're saying is that you tried it with let's call it intelligent automation, let's call it RPA, but it really started working now with generative AI. How much of what people are saying in terms of automation do you think lies on which part of the spectrum? How much of it was possible maybe even 10 years ago, and how much of it is just possible today? And you sort of mentioned the 93%. So sort of help me identify what was holding you back in being able to do it before that it became possible now. You mentioned Gemini sort of solved this problem for you, but really, where was it in terms of, was it your team believing, was it an external team believing? Who did you have to convince to say now this is really possible, and what was that inflection point?
So one of the things I always fight for, or always fight against, is influence of political, like organization politics in innovation. Like I don't want that within innovation. It stifles innovation a lot. So even according to some statistics that that I've seen in the past, I think McKinsey actually has one that says McKinsey actually did a study, I think in 2021, that says I think up to 70% of digital transformation fail because of organizational politics. Or we can also look at Gartner's, where that has something similar as well, that upward up to like 40% like automation projects fail because of organization politics. So like organizational politics is the first thing that you really want to get rid of. Right? It's not like we didn't face opposition, right? Some people are like, yeah, why not use OCR, right? Or why are you not using the IDP tool that is already provided by your vendor? Why are you not using that already? There are valid questions to ask. But if you work within an organization, or if you work within a team of people that are willing to try, so try things. And I think I'm more of the mindset of, you know what, let's move quickly, let's break things, let's learn from it, and let's move from it. Right? So we tried the IDP, it did not work. So let's move on. Let's try something else. IDP was a great tool, but I'm talking about large number of invoices that are coming in on a daily basis. IDP can handle it. It's slow, it's clunky, it's taking us a while. Like we have to like tweak it all the time. So it wasn't really working for us. So we needed something else. So at that point, we just said, okay, why not just try generative AI? We have it today. Let's just try it. And one of the reasons why we're able to try it and leverage it very quickly, because there's lack of politics within our process, within our organization. It's more, we have a management that kind of encourages, you know what, okay, you want to try it, go ahead, try it, right? So I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. So I think that it's not really an influential point, but it's more like you really need to get rid of organizational politics if you really want to improve innovation, or you really want to achieve a lot of innovations within your organization. So getting rid of politics is really, really important. I think that's what really helped us, because once that idea came on, like, hey, let's try generative AI. I didn't see any problem with that. Like, yeah, go ahead, try it. Let's see what's going to happen. And within a day, we were able to write a quick prompt that captured most of the invoices, and then we're able to continue tweaking it. So I think the biggest thing is having the support of management, and then, organizational policy should be out of, automation space. I think that's the difference in innovation a lot.
What was the timeline for maybe this? I know that you got to a prototype like super quickly. What was the timeline from saying, hey, we have this, to now let's implement this within the organization? Let's move the entire process to get finance to trust and say, yes, we will pay invoices basis what you're telling us to do. What was the timeline for the entire deployment, and did you stagger that?
We're able to build the very first version of that automation. We're able to build it, I think, in about 6 to 8 weeks. I can't remember the standard exactly again. But when we figured out that we needed to change that case where we were reading the invoices, the POs, and extracting information from them, so now, and then replacing it with Gemini, writing the prompt was easy. But accounting for all the nuances that were within that process and improving on the prompt was the hard part. So that took us several months to get it done. So I think it took us most of last year to get it done and get it to where it is today. So it was, okay, we improve on it, then we look at the data. we improve on it and we look at the data. How much improvement do we have? How much improvement do we have? So basically, we had some sort of war room where we're meeting with the business stakeholders every week to look at, okay, what are the improvements that we're seeing? This is the data that we are seeing. What are you seeing on your own side? What are the nuances that we need to account for? And I believe that with 93% accuracy that we've gotten now, I think there's still room for improvement. We still continue meeting with the business stakeholders to say, okay, this is the data we have. Like, what are you seeing on your side? What do we need to improve on and things like that? So it took us most of last year to get to where we are today.
The good thing about AI is that it's also learning, it's improving, and there's progress daily. But the bad thing is that you get like a really great prototype and a POC, then you try and deploy it into production, and the first place the end user is going to be like, I see all of these errors, and that's the first thing they're going to point out, and it's going to improve over time. But let's say, how did you take the team along for that journey where there are some errors, it's going to keep getting better, it's going to keep getting better? How did you get everybody along for that journey of having patience to say that it will eventually be great? It's not great today, but we'll keep making progress. What was that journey like?
I believe in radical transparency. So I'll let you know what the data is saying, even if it doesn't speak well to me. Like if you're not going to be happy with me, I'm still going to tell you this is what is going on. So at least I'm buying trust in you, and that's very key when it comes to automation. Right? I think we kind of forget that a lot of time because we really need the business partners to work with us to be able to build good automations. We don't work together, we don't have that trust with each other, then we're not going to build very good automation. There's going to be that distrust. So I talked about data earlier on. Like it was an intentional thing to say, hey, this is where we are today. There was a point we had 16% accuracy when we started off Gemini. And there was a point that we were like, can we just go back to the IDP? I think that was working better for us. I'm like, no, I think this can get better. Give us another week. Give us another week. Let's see where it's going to get to. And when we started comparing week to week, like the data from last week, we looked at this week, okay, the data improved, okay. Then we started buying trust and more buy-in from people. So I believe in radical transparency. So you need to be transparent with your stakeholder, regardless what the situation is. It could have gotten to a point where we say, okay, no, we are not improving at the 16%. Maybe we should go back to the IDP, right? Then we could have made that switch very quickly. Or like, I believe in that. Move, fail, move on. Learn from it and move on. And the good thing is, that was the first time we ever did any project in using generative AI. And that opened the floodgates for us. And there was a lot of learning from it. So right now, if we had to build that same automation with a different department, it's going to take us less time to to build it out.
When it comes to this, you said now you're at 97%, there's still a 3% error rate. And I'd like to think of, whenever I'm thinking about AI systems, I like to think about self-driving cars, where we got to a place where, it's very easy to show a car driving down the road, but as soon as you let it autonomously drive, it's going to hit somebody or something, and that error is not tolerable. So you still had a long number of years where you constantly said there needs to be a person behind the wheel. So in these kind of processes, the person behind the wheel, how do you sort of manage that for the 3% error? Is somebody constantly supervising it? Are they looking at some percentage of it? How do you have the guy behind the wheel?
I don't believe in building automation. I just live in it, and you're like, yeah, kumbaya, good luck, guys. On to the next automation. I believe in that constant, like continuous improvement. I have a Lean Six Sigma background, so I believe in improvement a lot. So yeah, because I'm at 93% or 96% accuracy rate, does not. I have to get close to 100, and then that's my preferred place to be, right? So having a dashboard helps us a lot. For every automation that we build, we have a dashboard, and we're tracking like various things depending on the automation that we build. So for this one particularly, one of the KPIs we track is the accuracy rate. And then we are looking at the exceptions that are coming out from it. Okay, what is the exceptions telling us? Is it a system error? Is it a business exception? If it's a business exception, okay, what type of things are we seeing from them? In some cases, the vendors are not sending the right documentation. That's why we're having the error rate. So we can go back to the vendors and say, hey, these are not the documents we need from you. These are the documents we actually need for you to send to us. No, this does not work for us. And then we can see opportunities for improvement. There are opportunities for training for our vendors and things like that. In some cases, the vendors are not sending very good quality documents to us, right? Maybe someone just took a paper from somewhere that's been roughly just scanned it in and then sent to us, then generative AI can't read it. And then it throws an error. So we know all these things. We know all the types of exceptions that we're getting today because we are keeping track of them. So it's more of like, okay, this is the biggest pocket of problems that we're having today. let's tackle it. And we meet with our stakeholders on a monthly basis. I meet with them on a monthly basis to kind of talk, okay, these are the exceptions that we are seeing. Okay, what is going on with this? Can you explain it to us? How do we solve that problem? Once we get rid of that, we go to the next bucket, solve that one, and then we keep going. And that helps us continue to improve our accuracy rating and reduce our exceptions basically. And if it's a system exception as well, we can look at, okay, what exactly on our own side is causing all these issues. Sometimes generative AI will refuse to work. No, probably take a break or something. Or maybe the SAP is slow that day, there's a white, there are various things. But on our side too, we're kind of looking at the data, like how do we improve on what is going on from our own side to reduce those system exceptions. But the good thing is we have less of those system exceptions and more of business exceptions for this particular process. For some other processes, we have more system exceptions. But you only know that if you're keeping track of what is going on and you're meeting, constantly with your stakeholders, kind of talk to it. So I think, to remove that person from the wheel and make it fully autonomous, I think it's important to keep track of the data, what you're getting from data, and then keep improving on it. That is what would help you get your hands off the wheels metaphorically, permanently at some point. But if you don't get to it, if you don't keeping track, you can never get to that.
If you sort of think about this, where you probably need a team of people to be able to tackle these problems. I heard somebody say that I only like to recruit interns on my team because they don't know anything and then they're going to come in with fresh eyes. So how do you think about when somebody's designing a team to do this AI adoption, AI transformation? How do you think of designing a team to be able to do this?
The same example that you use, hands off the wheel. Like for a new driver versus an experienced driver, it's two different things, right? A new driver might say, okay, I can get very close to this car in front of me, and when it breaks, I can brake very quickly, and that would be great. I won't get into an accident. But it doesn't always turn out that way, right? But an experienced driver will know, okay, anything can happen. Like I have brake failures. I might not be paying attention when he brakes and things like that. Then he's really keeping his distance from the car in front of him. So the same thing happens with when you're building a team. I think putting the right people in the right places is key. So I don't have any qualms about having an intern. But I have very experienced people on the team as well. People that know your culture. Yeah, people that are ready to learn. I think that's really, really key, because if you have someone that is just stuck in their ways, I know many times that we kind of made switches from, okay, we have this tool today, but we're adopting this new tool, and none of us have any idea and any knowledge on it. And then we have people going into it and very quickly they're learning from it, and the learning curve is shortened. So if you don't have people like that on your team that are willing to learn, then what's the purpose? We have a small team today, and they build a lot of automation every year, more than what some people like a team of 20, a team of bigger teams do in a year. We do more because we have a small team. We have people that are very eager to learn and ready to jump, innovate, and to do stuff like that. So I think having a mixture of experienced intern and early learners, or whatever you want to call it, I think is great for the team. We all push ourselves to kind of achieve, so to say, greatness, so to say.
And then, like, what kind of people are you bringing on board? Are you getting a lot of engineers? Are you getting analysts? Are you getting people from the business team involved? So let's say there's a 5 or 7 member team looking at one of these projects. Let's say if it was the catalog images problem or the invoice processing problem, what kind of team is best suited, and what are the skill sets that they should bring in to be able to solve some of these challenges?
Think about when you take your car to the dealership, you have a problem with your car. And let's say you don't even have a problem with your car, you're taking your car in for service. From the moment you get to the dealership, you have someone that is going to attend to you, like, okay, what's the problem today? What are you trying to do? Right? And you say, yeah, I'm just here to service my car. And then they take the note. And then we have somebody else that comes in, takes the car, drives it to the back, and tells the mechanic, this is what the customer is trying to do. Right? And then the mechanic implements. And then we have somebody that comes back, takes the car, delivers it. Someone calls you, your car is ready, then you pick up your car and leave. Exactly the same thing happens with automation team. You should have different people that have different skill sets. So, for example, you should have someone that knows how to interact with the business, that knows how to translate the business problem into technical solutions, and say, okay, this is what the business is trying to do, and let me explain that to my developers, or the developers, for them to understand it. You need someone that good. So, and you also need developers that are really good. I personally, I don't buy the idea of developers interacting directly with the business folks, because they don't always understand each other.
AI can translate for you.
And AI can translate for you. Well, I just feel like you need that analyst or whatever you call the person to help out. I think that's very key. And I think you need a data analyst on your team as well that will help you with building dashboards, tracking KPIs and all, identifying the trends, the patterns, and all those good stuff that are going there. And obviously, yeah, you need engineers. And for me, really, I don't really care about the tools that you've used because there are a lot of tools out there today. You possibly can't know every one of them, but I'm really willing to work with someone that is innovative, someone that is eager to learn, someone that is hungry to learn new tools. Like they're open to it. But I don't think I would like to work with someone that is just okay. I know blueprints and just sticking to blueprints. No, I need someone that is open to be versatile. It's good for you personally to grow, and then it's good for the organization as well.
Can you talk about what was the decision pattern like to decide what to work on, what to automate, what is going to have, what is firstly going to work and what is going to have ROI? How do you think about what to work on?
So this is a question I get all the time. Like people reach out to me and they're like, "How do you prioritize work? How do you prioritize work? What to do?" So for me, before I even get started, like for every use case that is submitted to us, I try to meet with the business stakeholders personally to understand what is the business problem you're trying to solve. At that point, and anybody that knows me knows that I do tell them, don't talk about solution with me. I'm interested in the solution. You came to me for a problem. So like looking at the dealership whole aspect, you would you're going to get the dealership and tell them, okay, this is the problem I have with this car, right? And the same thing applies here too. I want the business stakeholder to tell me what is the problem you're trying to solve. And they go, okay, this is the problem I'm trying to solve. And at that point, conceptually, I'm already thinking, okay, I think these are the tools that we can use. These are the tools that we can adopt to solve this problem. All right. And then we'll go through the process of doing all the documentation, doing all the assessment, and doing all those good stuff, then meeting with the developers and good stuff. But while doing all the assessment thing, the other things I like to collect as well is okay, aside from understanding the ROI, which is the cost benefit analysis, basically how many hours are we going to save, which is everyone that's a normal thing everybody tracks. But I also want to understand how that business impacts, how that process impact the business, because I want to understand how it affect like the upstream, the downstream processes, how it impacts your team financially, or to the organization financially, because that's another thing people don't think about, right? For example, let me see. I want to automate or organize my inbox in such a way that I can respond quicker to the customers. Yeah, that's what you really want to do. But the idea behind it is you're also improving customer satisfaction. But people don't think about it that way. In their head, they're like, okay, this is a business problem. I just want to make this a lot neater for me. But you're not thinking about it in terms of the customer as well. Like, okay, if we automate this and instead of responding to customer in 48 hours, we respond to them in 4 hours or 24 hours, yeah, the customer is probably happy and they probably stay with us. And that will translate to revenue in the long run. So in that regard, I start asking questions like, okay, has there been a period in the past where we lost a customer because we didn't respond to them on time? Most likely they would have situations like that. So I would like to document that, say, hey, in the past, in the last 1 year, we've lost X amount of customers because we are responding to, emails in 48 hours. So the ROI for this is ideally we want to get it down to 8 hours, one business day, so that customer is getting their responses very quickly. It will help us retain customer. That's another way. Those are like other benefits that we're going to derive from that automation. But people don't really think about things like businesses don't think about things like that. It's my job and the job of other analysts to kind of pull that out from understanding what you're trying to do. Understanding all those will help me quickly come to a final conclusion that okay, this is the overall benefit we are going to derive from this business, and this is the cost and all those good stuff. I initially shared a diagram with you, initially, if you can put that up. But we call it the value map. We're looking at the benefits, we are looking at the value. We put that on a graph. It's a quadrant, so to say. Quick wins, low hanging fruits, game changers, long shots. The quick wins are low value, low complexity. The low hanging fruit, low complexity, high value. The game changers are high value, high complexity. And then the long shot are high complexity, low value. I want to stay away from long shot as much as possible because these are usually like the project that takes us a long time to conclude. They are low value. I really don't want to pay attention to them. Ideally, what I like to focus on are the quick wins, the game changers, and the low hanging. The quick wins, I know I can, quickly, we can build that within a week or two, very quickly, get a quick turnaround. But I like to focus on those, get those one out of the way, and then focus on the game changers and then the low hanging fruit. We kind of examine all the benefits, not just the ROI, not just the no, no, I'm going to save X amount, every year, X amount of hours every year. Don't know. We're looking at the other qualitative and other quantitative values that we don't think about every day. So we put that together. That's how we kind of prioritize work today. So it's very simple. It's work for us and it's great.
Let's sort of break down the impact into top line impact, you have bottom line impact, you have customer experience impact, you have employee experience impact. You also might just have complexity impact, which is not just, there's no number, but if your business processes are a lot simpler because there's fewer moving parts. Where do you think currently AI is having the biggest impact? Is it on top line, and what's also sort of the focus? Is it a bottom line? Is it customer experience? Where do you think it's having the biggest impact, and where do you think the biggest focus for businesses right now?
I would say it would be employee morale. I think that's something we really don't focus on all the time. Look at the process that we just used as an illustration, like the image classification. Ordinarily, we'll have waited for days to get that. With generally, I can generate it very quickly. So, as an employee, if that's what I'm happy to come to work and say I'm excited to come to work to do my work and get things out of the way. With the other one where we're processing, payment for vendors, I don't have to think about it because I know someone is being done. And I know that it's being done to a very, very high accuracy rate. So I'm not bothered about it. So where I think I'm seeing most impact when it comes to, I think it's employee morale. And then in some other cases as well, we are seeing when it comes to customer satisfaction, we have a lot of automations that we are building now, which are quick wins, by the way. Organizing inboxes using generative AI. We're organizing all the requests that are coming to shared inboxes, organizing them into like different groups by request, target them accurately, know what it is. And then the next step from there is build a bot that will take all those requests and then go, implement them in SAP. And we're seeing a lot of them today. So the fact that we can respond to our customers faster than we used to do before is fantastic. So I think those two areas are the areas that I really see a lot of impact when it comes to generative AI these days, like employee morale and then customer satisfaction.
What do you think you're going to do next? Where do you think this is headed? Like, what do you think are going to be the next big areas of impact that you can clearly see, stuff that you're working on? Where do you see the next set of impact happening?
I think the supply chain, to be honest with you. And I think generative AI is going to be very, very impactful in that area. We are just starting to scrape the potential of generative AI. I don't think we've even gotten used to all the capabilities yet. I think we're just scraping it. I was in a conference, I think about a year or 2 ago, I can't remember right now, where I had somebody talk about, I think it's city of Oklahoma, where I think the CTO or the CIO was talking about how they leverage their trucks and the cameras on their truck, and they leverage generative AI to read the road and figure out where they need to fix roads that are bad roads and where they need to go fix. So generative AI is collecting all that data, leveraging the infrastructure they already have today to kind of report back and say, hey, this road here is bad. You need to go fix it. This amount of materials that you need to fix this road. So that's just one area. And thinking about how they use that and thinking about that in supply chain, warehouse, for example, there's going to be a lot of benefit in that area. We have a lot of boxes coming in that we are scanning, a lot of things that we are loading on trucks that we're scanning. All those things, some of them have been manually collected or they have been collected using some scanner, which is slow. But ability to be able to use like cameras and then generative AI to read those information and then put them in a data lake and then we can use it for whatever we want. I think it's going to be immense. There's a huge opportunity there. So I think supply chain is going to be a huge opportunity going forward.
So would love more examples of what Gordon Foods is doing in terms of automation and AI.
Even opportunities as simple as helping our business people that understand the right thing to solve their problem, that's immense. So that's a problem we had at some point. We couldn't help our businesses figure out because businesses basically have to go from one team to that team to figure out, okay, who is going to help me solve this problem? So they go to the data team to that and say, sorry, we're not the right people. Go meet, the automation team. They come here, they're like, no, we're not the right people. Go meet the applicant thing. Like we just keep bouncing them around. But building a very simple generative AI to just help them figure that out. Just answer a couple of questions or interact with the chatbots and then tell us, okay, this is based on what you told me, this is the right thing that you need to go talk to. This is the contact that you need to reach out to. And this is the reason why. that alone is very simple. That can help solve a lot of headaches very quickly. So as simple as that to even way more complicated things. So like there's a lot. I completely exhaust everything here today, but there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Maybe let me ask you this question. Let's assume there's a company who's not, as innovative as you, who's maybe a little late to the party, who's just trying to figure out, okay, I'm late here. I need to figure out what to automate first. What would be your suggestion on where should they look for the lowest hanging fruit, where they can just dip their feet, get started quickly? What would be a suggestion?
I think with finance, people can start seeing the possibility of what can be done. So we started off with finance at some point, and then from there we grew from finance to master data, and then we started going all over the company. I think finance is a very good place to start. I think a lot of finance people are doing a lot of copy and pasting, which RP is a exact tool to solve that problem for them. They're doing copying from this system and pulling reports from this system. I have to do a lot of manipulation in Excel whatever system and I have to load it into this SAP or this third party system. So there's a lot of manual things that are going on there. So I think starting off from finance is going to be a great place to start for most people. And yeah, starting off from there. And I also think, it's not just the function of starting with finance. I think it's more about evangelism. That's what I'll call it, right? You know, doing that evangelism within your organization, letting people know the capabilities of your team, what you can do, what you can do with the examples. Show them visually what you can do. That's going to be good as well. So it's not just about starting off; it's about showing that capability as well, right? So I think finance is a great place to start. There are a lot of quick points in finance. Things as simple as, oh, I'm pulling this report, several reports from this third-party website on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. I just need an automation to help me. There's actually an automation that we looked at that we're pulling reports from several third-party websites in order to make payments to the vendors. And they are like UPS and FedEx and the rest of them. We're literally going to each of those websites, having to point down reports for each of our GCs from those places, pull them out. It's a lot of headache. So starting with finance, building is simple automation to just do that. That RPA can solve that problem very quickly. So showing capabilities like solving problems like that is frequent for you, and then you can start to show your capabilities to everybody else on the team. Say, this is what we're capable of. This is what we're capable of. This is what we're doing with finance. You can do it as well with your team. So yeah, so it's not just starting off; it's also doing a lot of evangelism as well.
So let's imagine a future 10 years from now. You're the only employee at Gordon Foods, and then the rest of them are robots who are moving the packages, doing the deliveries. You have all of the agents sending out the invoices, receiving the invoices, making payments. What does it look like, 10 years later? Is this the future where you have a one-person company where everything is automated? What does Gordon Foods look like 5 or 10 years down the line?
I think the landscape is going to be very different. I think one of the things I tell people is, automation. One of the benefits of automation is it kind of enhances what you're doing today. So I think we are going to increasingly have more people that are going to enjoy the work that they are doing. We are going to have more skill set, and that's one of the things that we've seen from history, from all the industrial revolutions that we've seen, from the first one, the second one, the third one, to the fourth one that we're in currently. I think it creates more opportunities. This time, 2, 3 years ago, nobody thought about prompt engineering. Now we have the job called prompt engineering, right? So I think there are going to be more opportunities out there for several people. I think it's a good time to to look at where you can make impact within the organization. If you really want to grow, like you want to go parallel, vertically, whichever way, I think it's a good time to key into AI and see how AI can help you improve on your work or grow as a person, grow in your career as well. So I see in future, in a couple of years time to come, I think the job market is going to change very quickly. I think we're going to have new roles out there, and then people that decide to stay in their career, I think they're going to enjoy the work that they do way more than they do today.
Any closing thoughts, any advice for people who are looking to do automation, any inspiration?
Break things, learn from those things, change direction very quickly. It will help you. You will learn very quickly from it, and then do a lot of evangelism. I do call myself automation evangelist now. Do a lot of evangelism. You'll be surprised how many of the business stakeholders that think that they know about automation, but they really don't know about automation. They really don't know. A lot of them are scared about it. A lot of them don't even want it anywhere near them at all. Some people are just talk about the way they do work and they just want to remain that way. They just don't want any efficiency, nothing like that. So doing a lot of evangelism would help you kick off and make you go very quickly, in your automation journey. So yeah, two things: break things, learn from it, change direction, and then do a lot of evangelism.
That's amazing. No, we really appreciate you, Deji, for taking the time out. I think this has been incredible in the number of ideas you have and how you live almost in the future. Where I don't think you're living in the world today. I think you're living in the future. So it's been truly an inspiration hearing you, and thank you so much for doing this.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Sarthak.